Hey folks, Peri here. Welcome to this postmortem of the Shadow Atoms campaign for Stellaris. We're going to wrap up what I learned at least through this, and if you've watched along for at least part of it, some of the stuff hopefully I've conveyed. Well, first off, the big elephant in the room is minerals are king. I didn't really doubt the Shadow one when he first brought that up, but not the Shadow one. Hold on. Memory is a funny thing. When it's easy, you don't need it, and when you need it, the Shadow Online. There we go. Anyways, when he brought up what I was doing very wrong, he was right. I was doing it very wrong. So this one, I went all in, particularly focusing on the mining stations. They seem to be the absolute best bang for your buck, particularly early on. Yes, they cost a bit, but if you grab prosperity, you're suddenly saving a huge amount. I mean, your average 2 mineral station like this one here, you're saving 15 months off of the payback time, just right there. A year and a quarter on payback time, but just, you know, so that moves my initial choices out of expansion into prosperity and then harmony. I mean, I pay for it by the increased cost, because that modifier there that each technology adds 10%, but a 10% or even 20% increased speed, actually I guess prosperity and discovery gives the research station, 10% increased cost, 20% increased cost is relatively trivial compared to the number of colonies. You see there it's 2,300 and 28%, so that's massive. But that savings, particularly early on, is a godsend. And then once minerals get going, minerals build ships, colonies, mining stations, which provide minerals, and protection and expansion, which provide the ability to set new mining stations and feedback. And then while this is going on and your population grows, you have the resources to start building up homeworlds. I mean, Sol or Terra is a decent homeworld. It's not, it's not a ring world by any stretch of the imagination, but it has some decent output. And focusing planets on output is also quite useful. I mean, my entire surplus is this one planet, Eruvos Prime. I mean, I picked one that has mineral output, of course. Then I focused on minerals. That's all I did. I should have done more synthetics just because they increased the output. But even without that, I mean, this is even without an edict. I could go in here and production targets, add 15% more to that. And I also had gotten a hold of, from the mining drones, I had gotten a hold of, that's the Bradbury game with Cab. Okay, there's also one you can get, which drone optimization, I believe it's called, which increases your mining output. Not in this game, though. It would be nice. Even with what I'm making, though, by this point of the game, most of my minerals are just coming from buying them. It would be nice if there was a streamlined method where you could just make constant purchases. Let's see, what else? Well, speaking of that, this particular game, this galaxy, it's a medium-sized galaxy, has one artisan, one curator, and one trader. If you're in a multiplayer game or anything like that later on and you can afford it, if you kill this, that would cripple my empire. So killing the Zuricor would have really actually made my life difficult, because this would be pegged, I have nothing to do with it, and I'd have no ability to turn it into minerals and go on there. So that's something I'll have to look forward to at the time. These two are less of an issue. I mean, the Unity bonus is necessary, really. The research bonus is necessary, but as necessary as they are, you can live without them. Let's see, so that's that. Fleet sizes are nice. Cruisers are still proving to be useless. I don't know why. Fully, I mean, well, I do. And what I'm seeing is that they lead the charge when the fleets go in there cruisers decide they want to be in the front, so they're getting hit first, and they're large enough, they have no evasion really. They take the full blow and they get hit by weapons that can kill them. So, I'm not sure what to do differently with cruisers. Maybe load them up with ranged weapons like fighters and then armor and shields. I'll have to do some experiments and find out. Let's see, what else? Corvettes, neither here nor there. I mean, even here, destroyers are somewhat useless because they just get annihilated in the battles that I've been fighting. And admittedly, I've been fighting awakened empires and fallen empires. So the Felmel Enforcers, who are still somehow, actually, that is a founder species. They have no Felmel left, so I did my job. Anyways, they just mauled my smaller fleets. We saw that a while ago. Borders are still a bit of an issue in the game. This needs to be dealt with. I mean, a simple way is have an inner stripe with your off color. So in my case, it would be a thick black stripe. Theirs would be a purple stripe. That I think would help a great deal. I should probably mention that on the forums at some point. And even if I turn off sectors map mode and the special map mode, I mean, the Felno Enforcers in my Terran League, they blend. So, I mean, my actual coverage of the galaxy is the green, which, again, this is the best I've done to date. All because, again, I had resources. Remove the bottleneck, voila, things happen. And I'm only at half fleet cap. That's actually terrifying. As a matter of fact, I could turn off Grand Fleet and bring back a lot of influence, which I could then turn into other things. Let's see, where are we? Edicts, there we go. Yeah, Grand Fleet's still 1.35 or 1.3. But we'll, again, not worry about it right now because, again, it's a postmortem. I will probably do more of this in my spare time because I think it'd be fun to take this one to conclusion because I haven't had a galactic calamity yet. Probably won't at this point. But let's see what else. So, concentrated mining worlds are definitely worth doing, especially if you can hit exceptional quality minerals. Terraforming is always useful. 14,000 day thing's a bit much. I'm deep enough into the game that taking it would be kind of nice. I remember where it is. Someplace in here. There we go. Let's see, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've done the tech. No chance of finishing those, of course. It's not in game. Let's see, other things. Small donations of minerals or food or not energy. Energy, because of its abundance, doesn't seem to work as much. But small donations over time. You go to offer trade. Say food. If you get a good number with just say 10, that's invaluable for keeping people off of you. And I'm making 1,000 food surplus a month. I send them 30 a month. It's going to make this receptive attitude even better. So I mean, that's just crazy. Yeah, I've used that. I've used a version of that before, but it really does work nicely. Let's see what else I did. It does pay attention, or it is quite useful to pay attention to how the AI reacts. AI tends to really like to go for transport ships, and I can't blame them. You want to kill transport ships. But using that to bait their fleet to come out after you and rig them into areas where, for example, here, where I had a warp snare set up, is incredibly valuable. Because that warp snare brings, simplest thing the warp snare does is it negates range differential. If you're fighting Fallens, you immediately are at a serious advantage for range. But here, if you force them to come in near where your fleet is anchored, and you're sitting here anchored like this, you're also not paying the full upkeep cost. They can immediately be within range of your shorter, lower tech guns. And as we saw back with the gigantic battles, that was part of the key right there, as I negated one of their strong advantages right away. Let's see, what else? Transports, invasions. Because I have the resources, I could build up large armies. Here, my current invasion fleet has 255 armies in it, not counting the ones still on the ground holding down planets. A giant fleet like this makes invasions simpler because you don't have to worry about garrisoning the planets and any unrest in the background. Again, this is something conceptually I understood, but this is the first time I could put it together in a way that really shone through for me. Let's see, what else? Influence is just too hard to come by. Part of it's because as a government I don't get mandates, being a whatever the hell I am, a junta. Democracies get more, but later in the game you can't build the mining, and so there's a balance there. Let's see. Reform. Any of these give unity boosts? I was looking for a second, just out of curiosity. So I'm thinking about it. Oh, consumer cost reductions. Get them, love them, use them. That consumer good cost right there. I'm just losing, you know, $2,500 a month. The consumer goods. The 500 a shipment. It's $3,000 a month vanishing. And if I got rid of consumer goods, that would bump that even more. So that's just crazy. So, environmentalist is a incredibly useful pick. Perhaps not early in the game, you might want to go with something else and then pick it up later when you can reform your government. But 20% reduction in consumer goods, it's hard to pass that up. And let's see, what else? Species. I've given most of my species reductions in that. So a little curious. Right there, it's a 400 reduction. I have two 20% modifiers. This doesn't quite match where it should be, at least as a first level approximation. And I'll sit down at some point and do the math, I guess, but at some point. But I have a couple of species that I've picked up that don't have it yet. Not yet. We'll get them there, though. Good lord, do I have a mess worth of species. A lot of these probably came from the Xenophiles. Yep, that's exactly where they came from. Let's see, that's about it. I mean, I think there are a couple of achievements I can still go and get with this game. I'm still working on those. But not many. So, anyways. I don't think you'll see this particular game, this playthrough again. Coming up, there's the 1.8 patch. It's pending. Probably still a month or two off. I may start a new Stellaris, just because, again, I really, really like Stellaris, but probably on a small map, just to see how that plays differently. Perhaps turning off Fallen Empires to see how that's different. Little reduction in terror. But we'll see. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave them below, and I will endeavor to answer them when I see them. Thank you all for watching this series. Hope you find the other offerings to your liking, and yeah, drop me a line. Thanks for watching. Hey folks, thanks for watching this installment of the Shadow Adams campaign of Stellaris. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And if you'd like to encourage more videos like this one, then please hit the subscribe button on the left. And to see how this series has gone, please visit the playlist linked on the right. See you next time, and have a great one.